Okay, welcome everyone. So what we're going to be doing right now is just reviewing the basics of chemistry notes, the basics about the atom. That's all we're doing. And so on here we can see the basic parts of an atom, and we see that in the center. What is this called in the center? The nucleus. And what's in the nucleus? Protons and neutrons. And remember, it's super densely packed, okay? That area is densely packed. Anybody remember what holds the nucleus together? It's called some kind of force. What is it? The nuclear force. Awesome. That's called the nuclear force. And surrounding the nucleus that are spinning around are the electrons. Okay. Now, really, we're going to talk later in this unit about how the electrons spin. So we're going to get in depth about that. They aren't really traveling like planets around the sun. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. So all I want to do is just do a quick review of the notes. And so we know that the atom is the smallest part of an element. It's the basic building block of all matter. And we know that we have our 3 subatomic particles. The protons are charged positive, neutrons neutral, and electrons are negative. Okay, and if you have a neutral atom, then what 2 particles should be equal? The positive protons and the negative electrons. Awesome. Okay, so if it's neutral, then it's not that you have 0 electrons, it's that your electrons equal your protons. So just keeping that in mind. We also talked about what isotopes were versus ions, because sometimes people will mix these up because they both start with the letter I. There are 2 types of ions. They're either cations or anions. Cations are charged positively and anions are charged negatively, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. Isotopes, on the other hand, isotopes you have the same element, which means what's the same about it? The protons, or the atomic number. But then the mass is different, meaning what would be different about the atom? The neutrons. Awesome. Okay. So when your electrons are different, those are ions. When you have a different number of neutrons, and you compare one isotope to another, you can have the same element, but then it can be a different isotope if the neutrons are different and the mass is different. Okay, and then we talked about a little bit about the periodic table, and Mendeleev that developed the original periodic table. His was based on, right now we do it based on atomic number, but what did it used to be based on? Atomic mass. Awesome. Okay, and we'll talk about atomic mass in just a second here. So we also talked about the 3 parts of the periodic table. To the left are called metals. Along the staircase are called metalloids, and to the right are called nonmetals. Awesome. Very good. Okay, and then we've got our chemical symbol, where this top number is the mass number, the bottom number is your atomic number, and the number in the top right corner would be your charge, okay, depending on whether or not there's a charge. All right, so this chart I really liked because what it shows is that the mass of the electron it starts with the letter I, it's a long word, the mass of the electron is, everybody, insignificant. Awesome. Okay, we can see that it's a 1-to-1 ratio basically for the proton to neutron in AMUs, which stands for atomic mass units in AMUs, but the electron's mass is so small in comparison that we say that the mass of the atom, or the mass number, is equal to what plus what? Protons and neutrons. Perfect. Okay, so even though electrons are a part of the atom, we say that the mass is only the protons plus the neutrons. Okay, so over here what we were doing was we were given a chemical symbol, and so is X or Y or Z, and you had to figure out how many protons, how many neutrons, and how many electrons it had. So the protons are easy because that bottom number is your atomic number. But then to figure out the neutrons, nowhere in here does it actually give you the neutron amount. So how are you supposed to find it? You subtract. Because that's the mass, which is protons plus neutrons. So if you subtract your protons out, then you get your neutrons, which in this case would be 22. And then your electrons, we said, were the same as the protons if it's neutral. And if it's not neutral, then either it's a cation or it's an anion, positive or negative. And then you have to figure it out based on starting from the number of protons, you're going to base off how many electrons you have. So we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so down here, we've got our, what I call like the Jimmy Neutron looking atom. So we've got our nucleus in the middle. It's obviously not to scale because your nucleus, if your atom were the size of a football stadium, how big would your nucleus be? The size of a marble. But remember, that's where all the mass is. Okay, it's densely, very densely packed. So we've got our protons and neutrons in the center, and then we have our electrons on the outside. Let's do this one together. So if it doesn't give you the bottom number, you just check the periodic table, and we know that oxygen's atomic number is 8. Okay, so we put that in there. And then it's telling us that it has a charge, and it's giving us a charge of -2. So when we write our symbol, it's the same exact thing. We just do O, the 16 is our mass number, the 8 is our atomic number, and the 2 minus, or the -2, is the charge of our ion. And so in this case, is this a cation or an anion? Anion, because it's charged negatively. Okay, so now the first question is, how many protons would this have? 8. Very good, because that's the atomic number, so I'm going to write 8p plus. And then how many neutrons does it have? 8. And how do you know that? Yep, because you do 16 minus 8, so just subtract to figure out your neutrons. And that's our nucleus, so that's all set. Now you can either do it with rings, or you can do this Jimmy Neutron style, okay? And all we're going to do is just state the total number of electrons at this time. And we'll talk later on about how many electrons go in each energy level. So how many total electrons does this have? Well, if it were neutral, how many would it have? 8. Okay, but we know it's not neutral. -2 means what?
Add 2.
Oh, it gained or lost 2? It gained 2. Remember, it's the opposite. And when atoms lose or gain electrons, because electrons are negatively charged, it's the opposite. So remember, if you lose your negativity, if you lose electrons, that would make you more positive. But if you gain negativity, that makes you more negative. Okay, so it's the opposite. So gaining is negative and losing is positive. So keep that in mind. So in this case, on the count of 3, how many electrons would that be? Instead of 8, what is it? Ready? 1, 2, 3. 10. Awesome. And so we would just write 10 electrons on the outside. That's it for that. Okay, let's come down here. So I left one of these blank, and we've got the magnesium with a +2 charge. Again, the number is not on the bottom, okay? If they give you the isotope, in other words, magnesium can have a different isotope. Maybe magnesium has a mass of 24 or 23 or 22. So that can be different. The only thing that must be the same is the number of protons, okay? So this is one particular isotope. If they don't give you either number, then you can round the atomic weight on the periodic table to the nearest whole number, okay? That's what you would do if you had to do that. So what's the atomic number of magnesium? So all we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a periodic table. In the top left corner, the blue number, what's magnesium's atomic number? 12. Okay, so the atomic number we know is 12. The mass number, well, where in here do they give you the mass number? On top, so it's 25. Very good. The charge, is there a charge? Yes, so this is a +2. Protons are the same as the atomic number, so that's a 12. Okay, and then to figure out the neutrons, what do we do here? 25 minus 12, which is going to give us what? 13. Awesome. And now for the electrons. Okay, if it were neutral, how many electrons would it have? 12. But we're not doing 12. It's not 12. So now the question is, if we have, what is this, a cation or an anion if it's positive? Cation. So if it's positive, is it losing or gaining 2? Losing. Awesome. So instead of 12, what is it, everybody? 10. Very nice. Okay. So that's how we would fill out one of those charts. All right, and last thing is, well, calculating the atomic weight. So the atomic weight or the atomic mass, which is that red number in the top corner that has that decimal after it, that number is calculated based on the percent abundances as that particular element exists in nature. So what they did was they found all of the isotopes that they believed existed in nature, they found out what percent exists, and then they took the average. So it's different from us just saying add them together and divide by your total. We're not doing that, okay? We want to base it on percentage. So what's the first step? And we're going to do this little wrap thing together here. The first step is, so actually let's just say it together. Ready? Shift your decimal 2 loops back, multiply by the mass, add the number, shiggity shack. And the sooner that you memorize that, the easier these problems will be, okay? So what we do here is we take our percentages, so you find your percent, and sometimes it's not set up as a data table. Sometimes it's just set up as a word problem, as a story problem. So find your percents, shift your decimal 2 loops back. Why are we doing that? Why are we shifting our decimal 2 loops back? You're dividing by 100. You're turning it into a fraction instead of a percent. So it's out of 1 instead of out of 100, okay? So we do that first for all 3 of them. So we shift our decimal 2 loops back, or 2 of them, or 4 of them, or 7 of them, depending on how many isotopes there are. Then what you do is you multiply by the mass of it. So we multiplied each one by its mass, by its respective mass. Once you get those numbers, that isn't equal to neon's, any one of these is not equal to neon's atomic weight. So what do you have to do to these numbers to get that average? You add them together. Okay? So if you're ever given percentages and they ask you to find out what the average is based on the percent, that's how you would calculate it. Okay? So a lot of times this class ends up helping with your math class too. So you may come across a problem like that and then think, oh, I think I know how to do this. Last thing on here was labeling the periodic table. Okay? So we know that hydrogen is its own family. We already said metals are on the left, the metalloids and the nonmetals are on the right. Let's start over here. What are these called under hydrogen? Alkaline metals. What are these to the right of that? Alkaline earth metals. In the middle, these are called transition metals. Very good. The bottom ones are called inner transition metals. Very good. These on the far right are called noble gases, and just inside are called halogens. Awesome. Okay, so just make sure that you review all of those and the notes so that you can do great on the quiz as well. And that's it for the basics of the atom notes.